Okay, so this is an attempt to re-record from where the video cut out that I'd recorded before our AppSat submission. It matches the slides that we've uploaded to our SlideShare page, and you can follow along with that if you like. You'll find it at slideshare.net/regenuc, so the same as our Twitter handle and Facebook handle. So we'll start from the second last slide, 10 things to avoid in social media use. I think we've got up to the end of point 3 in the previous video, so I'll start with point 4, which was don't be needy or annoying. You get annoyed with needy people in your personal life. People get annoyed with needy social media users as well. Don't solicit or beg for retweets or likes unless it's really relevant to what you're trying to achieve with a particular campaign. If you do it regularly, it's just going to annoy the hell out of people and they'll stop paying attention to what you're doing. It's also just it's needy and it's manipulative in a way. If what you're posting on social media is interesting or people see it as has value, they will retweet it. They'll provide you with the amplification that you're craving. If you have to beg for it, it's probably a good indication that you need to look again at what sort of content you're posting and how you're interacting with your social media communities. All right. Number 5, don't confuse controversy with debate. Being controversial, coming out with provocative or controversial statements might help you, get on, shows like Today Tonight. It could generate a social media firestorm, but it's not necessarily a good way of winning hearts and minds and engaging with or building your communities of interest. People who respond to with outrage or to a controversy aren't necessarily the ones who are going to have a sustained interest. They're probably more likely to be the talkback callers or the social media trolls that everyone's so afraid of. Right, number 6 is don't expect to go viral. Like with any community development work, building a social media community, it takes time, and it's a slow build. You don't just open an account and post a cat video or something like that and suddenly have a million followers. You need to demonstrate, you need to introduce yourself to a community, establish that you have something to contribute to that community, and build followers as you go. Organic growth is really the key. People who might respond to something that goes viral, typically the things that go viral are things that occupy people's interest for a split second and then they're on to the next viral thing. If that's the sort of community that you're chasing, that quick grab of someone's attention, if that's part of your campaign, great. If you're looking to develop a sustainable community, that's not the way to do it. You need to focus on demonstrating to a community what you bring to that community and whether they should have a sustained interest in you or not. I'll probably stop banging on about that now. Number 7 is don't do gimmicks. I think I mentioned cat video just now. Everything that you put out should be consistent with your organisation's values and the way it does its business. Trying to tag something to something that is going to get a lot of brief attention, it might help you generate some awareness of your account or your profile, but it probably won't be within the target audience that you're trying to attract. It might help get you clicks, but is it really helping you reach the audience that you're trying to get to? Number 8, don't chase celebrities. Don't seek the celebrity endorsement. I mean, it's very it has great appeal and lots of people do it. Justin Bieber might have 47 million Twitter followers, but he's not going to follow you. And as with the chasing gimmicks thing and going viral, the type of interactions you might get from a celebrity endorsement, again, like you might get click-throughs from a celebrity endorsement just because it's from a celebrity, but the people who are doing that aren't necessarily the people that you're trying to connect with. Again, it can be good for helping to raise brand awareness, profile awareness, and reach out to some new audiences, but you're probably better off with focusing on the organic growth that I was talking about before, not the trying to achieve all your aims in one hit. And there's also the other thing that celebrities often don't really, unless they've got an interest in really finding out about your organisation, or have a personal experience with what you're talking about or what you're trying to achieve, chances are they're not really going to be great ambassadors for what you're trying to achieve as well. But if you happen to have a celebrity who's happy to understands what you're doing and is happy to be involved, then sure, go with them, and that can help. But it's not a quick fix, and it's not the only thing that you should be looking at. Number 9, don't copy brand X. And I guess by that I mean don't, just because someone else, and that includes Regen or others as well, don't just blindly copy what someone else is doing. Sure, look at what other organisations are doing. If their approach is helpful to you or useful to you, then you can adopt it, you can copy it, but don't just. It might not. But again, their approach may not really help you achieve what you're trying to achieve, what your organisation's goals are, or values. So adapt everything to what you're trying to achieve. And what you're doing should be about trying to find the organisation's voice. So everything should be consistent with your values and what your organisation does and how it works. And other organisations' approaches aren't necessarily going to be consistent with that. And number 10, don't obsess about security. At some stage, particularly if you have a Twitter account, it's going to get hacked. And your account will start generating spam to your followers, probably for weight loss or pills or something along those lines. It happens to everybody eventually. It's not a big deal. All you have to do is change your password, apologise to your followers for the inconvenience, and you move on. Your followers understand because it's probably happened to them too. It's just not a big deal. It's a common event people will understand. You apologise, move on. That's it. And the same with other social media accounts too. There is a risk that your accounts will be hacked. That's okay. As long as you're paying attention, you're not, leaving your accounts unmonitored for weeks or months at a time. You'll pick it up. You can take the necessary action, and problem's over, really. Okay, moving on to the last slide in the presentation, which was what can AOD organisations do, and I guess this is incorporating both social media and broader Web 2 approaches. The first one is allow comments on their website. It's pretty basic. It's very basic technology. It's easy to do. It requires a little bit of monitoring because you need to be able to respond. You have to moderate comments before they get posted on your website, obviously, and you need to respond when appropriate. But it's just a good thing to do. It's a basic and it's a good thing to do. Second one is think mobile. The future of internet access is through mobile devices. Your website should be available in a mobile format. If it's not, it's going to be quite a frustrating experience for people who are trying to to get information from your website through, or interact with your website via a mobile device, particularly if it's a phone. Okay, number three is encourage more consumer participation. It's just good practice, but what we've really found is that our social media accounts have really provided a useful forum for, or an additional way for our consumers to get involved with our services. A lot of people who do come through us, it's not something that we promote with clients, or that we have any expectation that that our consumers should engage in a public forum with us, because obviously there are privacy issues. But what we've found is that quite a few consumers are choosing to do so with their own personal accounts, with their own profile pictures attached, and use of their name. So, and when we've checked with them that they are comfortable with that public association with the organisation, and what we've found is that it's become a really useful way and an empowering way for our consumers to both continue their contact with the organisation, but also to take up some of our advocacy messages and do their own advocacy, and sharing our advocacy content within their own networks. Particularly with Facebook, we've had probably Twitter is more for the professional networks, the AOD workers scattered around the world. Our Twitter following is much more international, and so that's more focused on the journalists. We've had a few, just to think, we've probably had some consumer contact through our Twitter account. A couple that have been effectively direct service inquiries. It's always possible that sort of contact will happen. It's not something that we need to be afraid of. You just have to treat it like a triage call or a duty call. Find out the information you need and refer people on to the appropriate point within your organisation. But I guess with our Facebook account, our Facebook community is much more localised within Melbourne, so there are far more people who already have a connection with the organisation, either current or former staff, and people who've been through our services. And so it's providing a much better platform for people to interact and share their experiences with the organisation. And our Facebook page has really evolved into something that provides more of a feel for who are the people in our organisation and what's the experience like. So it's a lot more personal. It's a more personal approach than you have on our website, which is more about program information. What are these documents that we have, our annual reports, that sort of thing. Facebook is a more personal space, and I think that might be part of the reason why a lot of our consumers are choosing to engage with that platform. Also, they're more likely to be on Facebook than on Twitter or another platform. Okay, number 4 is adopt a culture of transparency, and I guess this relates to probably everything we've been saying before. What you should be doing is looking at putting as much information as is feasible and practical on your website, and circulating that through your social media networks. It's a good way of demonstrating that how you hold yourself accountable to your organisational values and the standards that you aspire to. It's also a great opportunity for when you're placing everything on your website. Then that provides also opportunities to link through your social media accounts, and it can help you drive traffic back to your website, to that content, and by directing links back to your website, it provides you with an opportunity to capture some evaluation data through when you can track your website use data. And obviously, a culture of transparency helps with promoting consumer participation. It helps you keep yourself accountable. it's just a good thing to do, and it's good practice. Right, number 6, recognise social media expertise amongst your staff. You know, chances are that the people who know most about social media in your organisation are not the CEO, and they're probably not in the senior management. They're probably your clinicians, your workers, and who are probably already using social media quite extensively with, in their private capacity. I guess along with the culture of transparency, it's really important, I think, and what we found really beneficial is to really harness the knowledge that people have about social media, and allow them the opportunity to use that to help the organisation. Which I guess brings us to point number 7 is decentralising control. Decentralising control over your social media accounts. Don't just park responsibility for your accounts with the CEO or with a specialist comms person. What we've found is that what really helps with the communication of organisational values and complementing the work of the organisation is to have someone with clinical knowledge, direct clinical knowledge, running the social media accounts. That allows then the capacity to respond to the direct client inquiries, to respond to any crisis contacts, and respond in a timely fashion to any challenges that may occur about the way both your advocacy content and the way the organisation does its business, which is often something that a straight comms person wouldn't have, and that a CEO doesn't have time or capacity to do. Essentially, and we've been arguing this for a while now, if you trust your staff to answer their phones or to go to meetings and represent the organisation or present at conferences, then you should be trusting them to operate your social media accounts too. It's the same thing. Excuse me. So point number 8 is be willing to take calculated risks. As I said before, it's important to understand that there are risks associated with social media activity and any advocacy activity. Any time that your staff is involved in a public forum, there are chances that it could go wrong, but realistically, it doesn't happen very often. Understand the risks, but don't be intimidated by them. If you start small and build and develop your confidence as you go, as you build experience and confidence, you'll be fine. The sky isn't going to fall in. If any mistakes get made, apologise for them, move on, keep things in context. Just do it in small steps. Build confidence within the organisation as much as anything else, as much as building individual staff confidence in using your accounts, and you'll be fine. Sorry, you will be fine. I guess one thing to keep in mind is that a lot of organisations still block social media access from their staff, from work computers. The ubiquity of mobile devices, particularly smartphones, just makes this sort of blocks pointless. People are going to be checking their Facebook page in breaks anyway, so you might as well get on board with that. Encourage the use of social media within your organisation, and then that can help integrate your staff's use of social media in the private capacity with your organisational approach. It can also help you identify those staff who are particularly adept and can really add an extra dimension or just an extra set of typing fingers to your advocacy work. Point number 9, recognise the costs, but do it anyway. It does take time, especially if you're going to commit to it, and if you're going to do it effectively, you need to commit some time and resources to it. You can't just check your social media accounts once a week and expect them to generate any sort of traffic. You need to have an ongoing presence and be responsive, and this means using people's time. Very few people in the sector get paid to do social media work. It's just something else that we choose to do. It's unfunded, but we think it has real value. To us, the benefits are pretty clear. So even though there is the ongoing argument about making a business case for the time that is dedicated to social media activity, we think it's worth it, or at least I think it's worth it. And the last point is try to integrate Web 2 approaches across your organisation. Integration is really the key. Everything should fit together. Whenever you're developing any document or event, you can be generating documents or photos or other content that you can be feeding in either through your website or your social media accounts, and cross-referencing things so that people are provided with a rich source of information about what's happening in your organisation and opportunities to engage with that and comment on it and criticise that if they choose to, because it's a great way to get consumer feedback. You don't have to be able to do it all at once. Regen we started about 4 years ago by putting comments on our website, and it's been a step-by-step building process along the way. And you work it out as you go. You build capacity. You can tick one thing off and move on to the next. It's a process. Okay. I think that'd probably be it. Yeah. I recommend you go to the SlideShare page. You can see the full presentation, and if you've got any questions, you're more than welcome to contact Regen and via our Twitter account at RegenUC, same for Facebook. It'll probably be me that responds to you, or my email address is paiken, AIKEN, @regen.org.au. Thanks.